Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
Software development teams are always looking for ways to improve their process and do things better. One of the best ways to do that is by evaluating your software engineering managers. Performance reviews are a great way to start this evaluation, but they can be difficult to get right. In this blog post, we'll share some tips on how you can make performance reviews effective in order to help your team grow and become more successful. What are software engineers? Software engineers are people who design and create software, often with the help of other programmers. There are many different types of engineering skills that you might need to get a job as a software engineer, including computer programming, or coding, graphic design, mathematics, problem solving, and much more. What is an evaluation? Evaluation means looking at how something was done in order to see what could be improved so it can be better next time around. Evaluations happen all the time for both personal life and work-related activities such as project deadlines or performance reviews. The intention behind evaluations is good feedback about what needs improvement while also helping the person do their best in future situations without being surprised by new challenges they hadn't first considered. How to approach performance reviews. Performance reviews are a great way to evaluate your software engineering managers, but they can be hard. Follow these steps and you'll get the best performance review possible. Plan ahead for what's important in this evaluation. Make it easy on yourself by keeping track of goals before making decisions about timeframes. Share feedback with the engineer rather than just doing an annual evaluation. It helps them see how they've been improving. Be realistic when scheduling deadlines because engineers work through lunch or late at night sometimes, so factor that into their schedule if necessary. Talk with your managers about their feedback instead of just receiving it passively. This helps them grow as well. Consider how formal the evaluation needs to be. Sometimes informal is best, but sometimes less time-consuming means more effective, i.e., avoiding meetings. How to avoid biased performance reviews. Performance reviews can be biased, but there are ways to make them less so. Evaluate your software engineering managers in a way that doesn't let bias affect the results. Be honest about any biases you have and get feedback from others on how they might impact this evaluation. Don't judge people based on personal feelings or preconceptions. Take each individual as an individual instead of just lumping them into one category. What should be included for performance reviews? A performance review should include what went well, areas for improvement, all relevant data, including benchmarks, specific examples with contexts provided so it's easier to see where improvements could be made. It should also provide suggestions and strategies employees can use to grow their expertise. Lastly, a performance review should contain actionable information a software engineer can take to improve. Senseless criticism can anger software engineers, especially when it's not structured. Use a rubric for performance reviews. A rubric is a set of guidelines or standards that you can use to evaluate someone. You need feedback from both employees and managers in order for this evaluation to be effective, so get it. Performance reviews are an important part of the software engineering process because they help engineers do better work. With these tips, your performance evaluations will be much smoother and more helpful. How important are peer reviews? Peer reviews are important because they provide feedback from someone who is not an engineer but has some understanding of what software engineering entails. This person can give a different perspective and might be able to judge whether the work was done well or poorly. Some companies use peer evaluations for making promotions decisions, which saves them time in finding people with good skill sets. It's also nice when there isn't any rivalry between employees that would make giving critique difficult. Anonymous versus public feedback. Feedback should be given anonymously if the software engineer will know who provided it. This prevents people from getting defensive or retaliatory when they're criticized because no one knows what their colleagues thought of them. However, sometimes public feedback can be good in order to make other engineers feel like they have an advocate at work and get more comfortable with criticism, especially if you use a forum. Public space also allows for different perspectives, which could provide helpful information on how to improve as well. Noise interference. Performance reviews are often undermined by noise interference, negative feedback that might not actually represent your efforts accurately but just draws attention away from positive aspects of your performance review. But there are ways to reduce this so it doesn't impact things too. One way is to provide a balanced but honest review. This means including both the good and bad aspects of your performance so it doesn't seem like you're only saying positive things about your team. Another way is by providing relevant data, benchmarks, metrics, or supporting evidence for claims made in the performance review that help back up these statements. Performance reviews are an important part of any software engineer's life because they can change how engineers do their work. With these tips, you'll be able to make them more successful. Self-assessments are also important. Self-assessments are a way to gauge how well you're doing. This allows for improvement and for an engineer's work to be more in line with their own goals. The first step of this process is taking stock, identifying your strengths and weaknesses, as well as the qualities that excite you about software engineering. Opportunities for growth. Then establish what needs improving by analyzing these factors against the skill sets needed to excel in software engineering and assessing whether they align or not. It can also help engineers get clear on what kind of feedback they might need from others. If there are any gaps between desired outcomes and actual results, it will become evident when self-evaluating. Need help with a software development project? Do you want to learn more about how we can assist in your upcoming software development project? If so, contact us today to speak to a member of our team.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.